Hi, everybody. We're here with Jose and Adam, and they are, hi, guys.
Hey.
They are the brains behind the OTJ summer sessions and their concept called Moose. And what I mean by the brains behind the summer session means that these two guys single-handedly, well, double-handedly, uh, organized well over 30 presentations for a
32.
32 presentations for a 5-day summer session that most of those sessions are all up on a YouTube channel and accessible to all members worldwide. And they're here tonight to tell us how they did it. So, guys, Jose,
Dave?
Adam, thanks for coming here tonight.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And
Very happy to be here.
I think I speak for the whole group that what you did was more than just a success. It was an inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice.
And it certainly was for me. And the fact that I could take a back seat and just watch it happen without
Right?
Yeah,
Best
I got a
kind of
comment
event.
for that. Yeah.
well, I would have been divorced if I no, but anyway. So yeah, what I'd like to do is find out how did you guys start this whole thing? What was the impetus?
Shall I?
Jose's birthday? Yeah, go for it.
It was something like, it was something. Okay, no, actually, you know what it was? I think it was July 26th. It was the Saturday before my birthday. And it was the day that Adam gave a presentation on Moodle grading.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw again like what we can do for people when we really get together. It also told me Adam's a really good presenter, and this guy's pretty sharp about Moodle, about all kinds of
that
things.
idea.
Yeah, well, it had to be proven to me. I'm a scientist in that way. I need facts, and it was proven to me yet again on my birthday when I got this wonderful surprise at the OTJ Friday night social. And Adam was very kind to actually orchestrate that whole thing. And so by the time my birthday had wound down, it was Saturday. I decided, you know what, that whole idea about the summer sessions that I had before, I think, we can try that because this end of August, I'm pretty sure most everybody, that band of time is the most likely time when people have any time before some people start going back to work like the middle of September. I thought that's it. It'll be that week in August. I call up Adam and I say, hey, I got an idea. And there he was on his hammock going, hey, not a bad idea. And we both thought, well, let's see where it goes. It started about there. Started
Okay.
From Adam's
Adam,
presentation.
so you were receptive to that.
Oh yeah.
What made you
So,
receptive to it?
Well, I mean, I was also already. I was thinking, okay, in the gap between first and second semester is when everybody's going to be sort of wondering, wow, what just happened? And what's going to happen next semester?
Right.
And so there's a whole heap of, wow, I just learned a whole heap of stuff, but I don't really know what I just learned. And everybody in that sort of a mindset, just having a couple of people get together and sort of bring that all together and congeal it into actually wisdom as opposed to just a few disparate facts seemed like a really good idea to me.
Okay.
I was also in Moodle wise actually just thinking, okay, right now there's a whole heap of people who need Moodle quickly.
Right.
And so through the Moodle Association of Japan, I was also running the Moodle Week, which was the first week of September. And so the same basic idea, just in a different week and more Moodle centric in terms of its content. So when Jose was saying, hey, but let's just do something with this. We've got this community of people who love sharing ideas. Let's, just coordinate them so that they're all sharing ideas together at the same time in the same place. And that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? And at first, we didn't expect 32 presentations.
Jeez, no.
we expected maybe 2 or 3 or
tops 10, maybe if things went wild, 15, like 3 a day. Oh, can you imagine, Adam? We had 3 a day. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
And I was expecting that 4 of those would be Jose.
You and me both, buddy.
And basically it was just a bit of help with organizing and things like that. So I knew at the beginning, well, I'm not going to be on my own with this. Jose's already in and he's looking for a partner. He's not looking for someone to run the show for him. He's looking for someone to be an equal partner and just work together on it. And that whole idea of, hey, I want to help people, you want to help people, let's get together and help more people. Yeah, well, that's pretty appealing to me. So,
and well, it was certainly appealing to everybody else too. So when you put the call out, you devised a plan anyway, which you're going to use 4 to 5 days. Was that originally the idea, 5 days?
Pretty much, yeah. That was from the Monday to Friday, and we thought maybe if we needed Saturday. Turned out that we didn't need it, and I'm kind of glad we didn't do it. It would have been difficult too because there was stuff happening on the Sunday before, and Adam already had to go and get ready for Moodle Week on the following the Monday. It started September 1st, right, Adam? Yeah. So I couldn't see it going beyond Monday to Friday. Was a nice, neat, tight package.
I thought so. I thought so, and when I heard the word Saturday, I thought, But it was your baby, and you guys.
And in addition to that, with the Monday to Friday thing, was we're trying to have it wide enough so that people can say, okay, through the week, there's some time when you're probably going to be able to do this. So if we have a nice wide area, even if we have just 1 on Monday, 2 on Wednesday, and 1 on Friday, that would have been fine.
Yes, it would have.
But it just gives people. If you're running a session, you have a whole week that you can actually schedule it and put it in. And we thought, geez, that's going to be great. Everybody's going to be able to do it when they can.
Yeah, they got options here. They can choose a day.
Yeah, the options sort of dried up after a while, though, because we also wanted to make sure that nobody was competing for an audience.
Yeah.
And so when that schedule really started filling up and it was just, oh my God, there aren't any slots. And we were a bit worried about, are we going to have to, we were talking about this and we were thinking, what do we value more? The openness of participation or the lack of competing for an audience? And in the end, we didn't have to make the compromise, but it got pretty tight.
I think that was wise not to overlap, though, because a lot of conferences you go to, at least in this case anyway, and it wasn't a conference, it was summer sessions, but
that's right.
It was just, I think it was just real nice for people to be able to, given the choice, check out the next live one if they want it, but to have 3 or 4 to choose from, it would have eaten up some audience.
I hate when that happens, literally.
Yeah.
And one more thing that sealed the deal for us not going onto the weekends was that we checked out the JALT schedule and we saw, Sunday, the Sunday before the summer sessions, there's a big JALT event happening. I think it was Sendai?
Akita? Was it?
And,
anyway, there was something happening.
Cassie was presenting there even.
Right.
So
yeah. I think it was Hokkaido.
Last thing we want to do is steal that audience. And then on Saturday, Kyoto JALT, wasn't it? With Curtis Kelly and Amanda, I think.
Could be. But we saw that coming and we thought, nah, don't want to, invade that.
So given the time frame you had, you looked around and you thought, okay, we don't want to interfere with this. We don't want to interfere with that. We
just put it on the calendar and the Google Block just said, not going to do that.
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, you need some constraints, and you chose your constraints well, I think.
Yeah.
The 10 o'clock start was an interesting constraint, I thought.
Okay. When you say the word constraint, that's where I think it's, I want to make clear to everybody that we didn't choose a lot of these parameters. So the whole idea of 10 o'clock, that came up during the planning meeting.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Right. In the planning meeting, I said, okay, what do you guys want to do? I have some ideas, some suggestions, some topics to cover. Let's hear it. put everything on the table, and what about scheduling? What about who's going to go do what? And what about this? And what about that? And what stunned me at that planning meeting, there were a lot of things that kind of stunned me, literally, you know, like, well, maybe not literally, that's an overuse of the word, but like really, really surprised me, was how enthusiastic everybody was for this. Just how much energy just spilled forth. It was like, it was almost cathartic, I think, that people were thinking, the setup was what Adam described. There's a lot of stuff floating in your head and you want to collate it. And then everybody came to this planning meeting who was there, and just the enthusiasm that just shot out. Said, well, why don't we do this? And why don't we do that? Well, why don't we start at 10, and then we can have a session from 10 to 12, and then maybe one from 2 to 4, and then maybe something from 6 to 8. Seemed like perfect for the 3 slots that we wanted. So the 10 o'clock start just came out of the whole community discussion, well, like a lot of things did.
Yeah, I remember that evening, and it was a lot of fun. And it was you as organizers, you must have been kind of excited to see that. Wow, these guys don't need any sort of persuasion. They're just jumping at it. Everybody who showed up had ideas, and the ideas were flowing, and people were stepping up.
Certainly, the people.
I do take a little bit of umbrage at it being called an organizer.
Yeah, I was
wondering. We prefer the term disorganization.
Okay, well,
because we really weren't
anti-organizers. Yeah, no, right.
What we did was we distributed it out.
Yeah,
and we said, okay, you want to run a session, then you guys who are running the session, you session leaders, plan how you're going to get your Zoom room up. Give us the Zoom links, and we'll put it on the calendar. Yeah. And if you want a room host, get yourself a room host. Yeah. Don't expect us to spoon feed you all the way, because ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, I think that was wise, and I think like early on in OTJ in the very springs when Jose started doing a couple of things and I started doing a couple of things, we put out a post like, anybody who wants to do any kind of workshop, just put an event up and just do it and run it and get some practice. And not a lot of people took the bait there, but the summer session seemed to be the sort of the fulfillment of that kind of idea. Like, here's a space, here's some times or like some days. If you got something you want to do it. And then, like you said, do it. You know, we're not going to spoon feed you.
And it's continuing on. I mean, Steve Henneberry has already been experimenting with Facebook rooms and things to see if he can get something just, on the fly. You got a spare 10 minutes or so. Yeah. Who's available? Let's have a session and things like that. And the real, the idea of, hey, I don't need to be in a big organization. As long as I've just got, a few people who are willing to share ideas, we've got ourselves a session. It's a beautiful thing. It's
as simple as that. And I think, Jose, you speak to that a lot often in some of the conversations we've had, which is just like, you got to step out. You got to, put it out there. If nobody shows up, well, at least you gave it a try.
Yeah. But I think more than anything else, what I saw coming out of the sessions was, what I saw coming in were still these people who were my friends, but they were still a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of hesitancy. Oh, I don't know if I know enough about that software. I don't know if I can actually speak to that really well. I don't know if I'm good enough at it to lead a session. And I think, because Adam and I knew what we wanted to convey as the message for what the Moose wanted to achieve, which is to create this atmosphere where people shed their old ideas about what occurs at academic gatherings, which is where the expert stands on the dais and the expert holds the microphone and the expert has the PowerPoint slides. And instead, what we're going to do here is we're going to create knowledge. We're going to create knowledge because we need that knowledge, because that knowledge is related to a topic that none of us are expert in. This whole idea of ERT, or what Adam was talking about, reduced altered tool set teaching, RAT. Nobody is an expert in any of that. So here we have to create knowledge, and I think succeeded in conveying that to a lot of people. But what made me more satisfied was the idea that people were still a little hesitant going in. But by the time they came out, I was hearing voices like, and you saw these, some of these people were on OTJ saying, wow, I was really glad that I did that. And I feel so much closer to the community now. And I realize that I have something to offer. And I'm paraphrasing a lot of this stuff, but this was the spirit that came out of it. And I think that's what makes us OTJ even stronger now, because now we have a bunch of people like, not that, Steve Henneberry was any slouch to begin with, but who now have even more confidence to step in where Adam and I have basically quite formally stepped out of the summer sessions.
Another thing I noticed during that planning meeting were people who didn't really know each other too well, who were willing to share the stage or like willing to share a workshop together. Hey, I'll team up with you on Thursday morning if you'd like.
Right.
And they didn't even know each other. They were meeting probably for the first time in that meeting, and I thought maybe they did know each other a bit, but they didn't need, well, what's your research topic, or what's your, like, they didn't need to go into each other's background to decide, let's team up on Thursday at 10 o'clock to talk about this interesting topic that somebody threw out. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
Well, that was also a big part of just drawing on the community aspect of it and distributing the organization in that we're not going to tell, actually we did mess up on that a little bit, because we messed up at that first session. One of the first things that we didn't really emphasize was, but if you go back and look at it, the poster for it has the word first on it. And some people came away from that first planning meeting thinking that was the be all and end all and the schedule was set.
Right.
Far from it. That's why that thing had the word first on it.
Right.
Because we were planning a second and a third and a fourth.
Right.
And it became apparent that we didn't actually have it would have been better to separate it out and allow for perhaps some more asynchronous communication to happen in planning these things, these sessions. And so we thought, okay, we need to get the message on how this is actually structured. The moose,
right.
What is a moose, is really an unknown. We're not communicating it well enough, and so we wrote the Q&A structured thing to say, okay, this is what a moose is, this is how it's going to go, and this is how it's community run. And if you're, what about vetting sessions? Who chooses who's the expert and everything? There is none.
I love the plenary speaker.
You saw that. Oh, you saw that.
Yeah. You got rickrolled.
But shush. Let everyone else figure it out. You should go see the plenary sessions. Please go check out the plenary sessions.
If you could describe the moose to people who were watching this video as their first introduction to checking out the summer sessions, how would you describe it in, say, a couple of sentences?
A couple of sentences,
or in a word. In a word, MOOS. A moose. Massively open online sessions. And we had to put in the little e because otherwise, like Adam figured out when he tried to write it down, somebody on the other side, if you didn't actually hear someone say it, they would think it says moose. Like multiple vocalizations by a cow. So we had to put in the little e. But the couple of, okay, I'll try to make it as short as I can. It's a new concept for the way academic gatherings can be structured. And the idea is that you don't go in there thinking about an expert. How did it go again, Adam? The 4 core values.
So the openness. So I mean, you have a community that wants to share ideas. You create an open forum for anyone to share ideas in that community. And the decision on whether these are valid sessions and interesting sessions or something, that choice is left up to the community.
Okay, so let me just show this really quickly here, guys. So
You
if you
got the
if you go to the site and you just go to the section on what is a moose and you scroll down, and the whole thing, if you're really interested in it, number one, you can always contact me and Adam, but read this, and then here are the 4 core values. Number one, it's open. Anybody can join. So I don't care how many letters you have after your name. Me, I only have 2, you know. Distributed organization, everybody helps. Okay, this isn't up to us. And because of that, then that means that everybody gets a say. Mutual respect and acceptance. Pretty obvious stuff. It's almost like the stuff that you see on a kindergarten wall trying to tell kids how to behave. But for me, I kind of like this. I think it's the one thing that kind of really separates it. It's the idea that the social experience is not a side effect. I've heard people before say that, I really only go to those conferences because I want to catch up with my old friends. And it's nice to catch a presentation here or there, but the social aspect of things, that's what I really like about conferences. And in a moose, the social experience is not a side effect. It's not just a benefit. It's core. It's central to how everything is done, how people participate to create new knowledge. Those are the 4 core values. That's what makes it different. It's not like, about expertise.
You talked about the kindergarten experience. It's like children playing in the park together or playing at the playground together. They learn from each other through their play, through their conversations, through their pushing and so in this case we just have
pushing. Did you say pushing and shoving?
Pushing and shoving, right? I edited it myself there.
That's right. That's
good. But even that's part of it, right? Arguing a little bit here and disagreeing a little bit.
Sure.
Disagreeing is part of how you disagree is another story, right? But learning how to disagree effectively is a kindergarten skill as well. In this case, we had a focus, which was our collective experience of teaching online.
Yeah, so
was the focus.
That's a big thing of it too, is that everybody's, in particular in this particular era, just straight after the first semester of COVID times, everybody's had a really bizarre experience over the past 6 months. And so there are no experts on that experience, but everybody's experience is going to be somewhat different and equally valid. So
valid.
Walk a mile in the other person's shoes. Another kindergarten saying there. Yeah. But these sessions, for me as well, I attended a lot of them because I was truly interested in, geez, what were other people doing? Because I know what I did. Yeah. But how did other people get through? Geez, they must have. The people who had no e-learning experience and then had this e-learning thrust upon them. Okay, out with the old tool set, in with the new. Use this. I mean, that would have scared the hell out of me.
It did scare the hell out of me.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
There are going to be some fantastic stories coming out of this, stories of people triumphing or facing difficulty and overcoming the challenges and things like that.
And that, to me, I think were some of the most valuable things that I took away. Of course, it was really, really good to hear about how people were using this software or that software, or how they did workarounds for whatever problem they had in marking or essay grading or whatever. But the chance, again, to partake of the community, to get everybody in one place, talking to each other about those experiences, just like Adam said, those were some of the most valuable parts of the Moose, of the summer sessions that I got.
One of the ones that I took away, the biggest impact from the summer sessions, and I didn't attend all of them, as you know, but on the Friday, the last day, I decided I'm going to ride my bicycle to the 6-kilometer ride to the convenience store to get a couple of beer. And at the same time, I had my iPhone with me, and I was listening to I think it was like Teacher Voices or something. It was people talking about their experience, exactly what you're just saying now. And one woman was talking about how she broke down in front of her students. And I'm on my bike, and I got the beer, and I'm riding, and I was like, I stopped, and I got to listen to it, and I'm like, But what really happened was it got me thinking, I haven't really told my story either. And what you're saying, like everyone has a story and they're all valid and they're all worth, they need some expression, some form of expression. And in this case, summer sessions offered a lot of people that opportunity to share some aspect of what happened to them. And,
I believe so, yes.
And so it was as much a storytelling experience as it was, how do we teach people how to do things for the future? It was as much about what we had just gone through as what we're going to go, where do we go from here?
I think a lot of people found it cathartic.
Yeah.
Being able to say that, like, oh my God, I cried in front of my students. Oh my God, I got into another fight with my wife. Oh my God, I like, people were reporting about how they couldn't sleep, how they're drinking way too much coffee. And just hearing that from your colleagues, from your peers, will help you go, wow, I'm not the loser that I thought I was, because everyone else is having the same problems as me. So, and again, that's just another little hole that I think the Moose managed to fill without us even knowing that it would do that.
Right.
There's so many things that these summer sessions did that we never thought that they would actually do.
The unintended consequence.
Well, consequence is a bad thing.
I wouldn't say it's entirely unintended, because with the core value of mutual respect and the social aspect, when those two combine, you're essentially going to have it where you learn someone else's story, and through learning that you can generate some empathy, and through that you get the respect. It's not so much a respect because you've got your super duper PhD in 17 letters after your name, but it's hey, you went through this, it was hard, and you survived and lived to tell the story.
And that's interesting, Adam, because we Jose and myself, we spoke with Charlie Brown the other day, and he talks about this humanistic. He's a teacher trainer, so he's training young university students for teaching English, and it gets me thinking, like, that's the environment you guys created, which is almost like as if it was teacher training, where no one's in there to condemn it. You would never condemn a student in a teacher training session, right? You want to support and lift them up and try to help them, because they're going into an important field. And I think the idea, number one, I think COVID is the great equalizer, in a sense. This online learning suddenly made somebody who might not be a PhD, might be really good with technology, was able to help the PhD person, and somebody, we were all able to help each other. So that was a great equalizer. But this element of giving people voice and giving them respect and a place to speak without judgment, I guess, is what's the word?
Cathartic.
Catharsis.
And we never really needed that in our normal lives. We've almost gotten used to the idea that, we're stoic professionals. But because, as you said, Dave, this is the year of COVID, and this is the year of stress, and this is the year of uncertainty, and this is the year of whatever crappy situation any of us find ourselves in, we needed that catharsis. We needed to be able to speak out. And,
do you think it makes me think, and ask, do you agree with this? It makes me think that we needed it all along.
Oh, yeah.
Even before COVID.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We did. And I never thought that this would be the vehicle for it, but I always thought it would be nice if people could just, maybe at least professionally let their hair down and said, yeah, man, this has been a drag. I've just had the worst teaching experience. This is the worst teaching of my life I've ever done. And just saying stuff like that has its own great, great value in front of your peers.
And also, so does sharing success.
Of course.
Hey, I just learned how to do something today. It's kind of cool. You want to check it out? Let's do a Zoom session and we'll share our ideas together.
Well, we've always needed that sort of stuff as well, and we've always had groups coming together, ETJ and JALT and other teaching organizations, JASET or whatever. There've always been, since Facebook's inception, groups on Facebook that come together to discuss issues, but never have so many people been in the same boat up the same creek as they were this year. And so I think that's what really sets this year aside. It's the idea of people coming together and sharing ideas is nothing new,
right?
But that we're all in the same boat up the same creek.
Do you still think we're in the same boat, in the same creek for the second semester?
Yeah, but I think a lot of us now, as a result of the first semester, I think we've learned how to carve a panel. So we've now got paddles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we still aren't completely out of the woods, mostly because things are constantly changing. Administration is making last-minute decisions. Some institutions, some universities are making bad policy decisions that include things like hybrid classrooms. Got to say, I totally disagree with those things. I'm sure that the institutions probably have an argument for them, but my point is that teachers are still faced with a lot of uncertainty, stuff coming down the pipe last minute. But like Adam said, we're now at least weaponized against for the battles that we have to fight. Most importantly, we know now that we can depend on each other. And that's not out of the summer sessions, Dave. That's what you did with OTJ. You made those summer sessions possible by creating this group from scratch in April, nurturing the atmosphere for it. And without all of that, we wouldn't have been able to do the summer sessions.
Yeah, so thanks for lending us the community you created.
Well, thank you for taking it to a new level. This is my question, though, for the fall, which is, I think we still need each other.
Well, I know we still need each other.
Right. And for that same mission, we're still going up the creek. Maybe we got a few paddles, but we need to get some current behind us. We need to get we need some supplies or something to to make it, because like somebody posted something today. And maybe these statistics don't mean anything, but there's a number of students who aren't getting what they want out of this experience, and we need to identify that in the fall semester to try to sort of help out. And this is independent of university policy and stuff. We need to make sure that we can address, we want as much of a high percentage of students in our classes to be satisfied, not only satisfied, but to be able to excel in the online experience, I think. That said, the sessions are finished. They're all up on YouTube. What's your reflection after? What would you say just reflecting on having completed it? What do you feel about that?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Okay.
I need a beer.
And you need it. Are you still on? Like, was there a little bit of a high afterwards, or was it like, oh,
sure. It was, but I think there was a lot of fatigue too. I didn't realize how fatigued I was until this past Monday, already 3 days after, and I realized, holy cow, I'm still tired. But reflection. Okay, first I want to take, and I want to apologize to Adam for never ever having discussed this with him. I thought I had discussed this with him prior, but kind of dropped the bomb on this. But I want to take the opportunity here in this interview to say again that at least I have retired from doing any more summer or whatever sessions. We won't be doing any more, certainly summer sessions, probably not any winter, fall, and or spring, and or Obon, and or Golden Week sessions, because I think I want the community to stop looking at others, whoever these leaders are, whoever these other people that have set precedents, and looking at them as leaders. One of the great things about OTJ is the fact that it was primed to be for that second core value of distributed effort. And I want to reinforce that by telling people you're not only going to not need Adam and me to do it, you're not going to have Adam and me to do it. So if you want it done, we have the templates. We'll give you the documents. You can always, message us and we'll give you the information, the advice that we can, but you're going to do it. And you're going to find that it's a lot easier now for you because, we've already set a precedent. And it can be done, obviously. A lot of people were saying, not a lot, but some people were saying that the summer sessions couldn't be done. And we did it anyway. And so I want people to look at that as a model and say that, well, if that can be done by those two, then certainly anybody else can do it. And that's what I want to leave behind.
And to add to that, I'd say that one of the important things, I think, is to remember how this actually got started. It was one guy said to another guy, hey, you want to do something? That's how it starts. So
right.
OTJ people out there, hey, I want you to think of what you want to see happen and then talk to somebody about it and say, hey, you want to make this happen? Let's make it happen, eh? And that's how it gets started.
And not only that, but stop. I don't want to sound like I'm talking to one of my students, but sometimes I feel because of the situation that I have to do this even with my peers, because I hear university level instructors say this to me often. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. Do you really think I don't know if I know enough about that field? And I do a head slap all the time. Of course you do. That's why I'm talking to you about it. And it's not just the people that I talk to, it's everybody out there. If they could just get it straight, that this does not require any great expertise, it only requires will. Are you going to do it because you want to do it? And I think that's another thing that might be important for Adam and me to emphasize. We wanted to do this. No one had to ask us. This was in its own way a labor of love. To do something different, to do something that helped people. And if you want to do something, you will be motivated to climb great heights. What you don't know, you're going to open up books for. Who can help you? You're going to find those people. And I don't want to sound like a motivational speaker, but sometimes I find myself having to do that with people until they figure it out for themselves.
Well, another thing to remember is that the summer sessions also were sort of born out. I mean, one of the reasons why Jose, I think, asked me is because I saw, okay, people are asking questions about Moodle. They need a Moodle session to happen. So I set up an event on OTJ and I ran one through Big Blue Button. And I ran a second one through Big Blue Button.
What is Big Blue Button?
It's
somewhat irrelevant now.
No, it's most relevant. David doesn't even know what it is.
By Zoom.
Yeah. Think of it as a Zoom competitor, Dave.
Okay. It essentially, is an alternative to Zoom.
Okay.
So anyway, people weren't familiar with it, or for whatever reason anyway. Those sucked. They flopped big time. I mean, people were having difficulty getting in, or people weren't, weren't, busy that time of night and can't attend or anything like that. Oh, I would go, but they sucked. So it's not as if we walked directly into a successful model.
No.
So if someone is listening to this and thinking about trying something like this, it's okay that it sucks the first time or the second time or something. It took me 3 times at least to get something decent happening in OTJ.
And I want to also tell people, it's not just Adam. I remember a couple of the Saturday sessions I did where there were 4 people there, 4 or 5 people there. And you just look at that and you go, okay, 4 or 5 people. That's pretty cool. I helped 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, well, when we kicked off the summer sessions initially, we were just thinking, well, what if it sucks and only 4 or 5 people come? Well, then short presentation, we'll have a beer.
That's what I thought. I mean, I ended up being involved in 2 presentations, and I thought if nobody comes, we'll just have a conversation. Like, you get to talk to somebody
You had some
No
pretty
way
good
you
ones. You
can
had like
lose.
15 people. You had like 20 people show up to yours.
There was 21 or something at
Oh.
the testing one, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And what came out of the testing one was in the OTJ in the after party that you guys had is it came up during it, but it came up after, and it came up in a private message, which is, can you guys do another one, more details about the Google quizzes and Google Forms and Google Docs and stuff. So I talked to Nick, and we're gonna, sometime very soon, we're just gonna pop up a Friday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon session of, come on in and we'll walk you through a few things. There's something. So that's the kind of thing that I think the summer sessions should inspire, is if somebody, I think you said it, Adam, which is, if, like, the way I think of it is, you're walking down the street, you get an idea about something, you can, like, I have an idea for something, an event for OTJ, and then you go have a coffee and you forget about it. Or you go have a coffee and you write down a few notes, like, okay, I'm going to talk to Jose about it, I'm going to talk to Dave about it, I'm going to talk to Adam and see if I can get some new ideas. I mean, the minute you take it to the next step, then you're on your way. The minute you ignore it, then you're on your,
Well, also, the first two that I did, the first two events that I did that were dismal failures, I didn't lose anything because of it. Actually, I gained the knowledge of, okay, probably don't want to do it that style again.
Yeah, right.
And so that was one of the things that we noticed was, well, Jose commented on that and said, well, one of the problems seems to be that people are used to Zoom and you're asking them to do it on a different platform. So fast forward to the OTJ summer sessions, what platform was I using? Zoom. And we actually sort of made that a rule that, okay, everyone should be on the same platform to create what Todd Buchan's calls frictionless access.
Right.
I like that.
If people are switching between platform to platform to platform or something, it makes it hard. But if everybody's on the same platform, and a platform that they commonly use at the Friday night socials, then they're used to it and they're good at it and they'll get in without any hassles. So make it easier for people.
Yeah.
So we learned from
a good
those
example
prior mistakes of how not to make those mistakes again. That was valuable knowledge.
Yeah, I think so. A good example of a person in OTJ that doesn't use Zoom is Nathan.
Yeah,
Gildart.
so he actually asked us if he could use Meet.
Our Zoom room, yeah.
And we said, please don't.
But we ended up doing that anyway. We actually ended up breaking a couple of the rules that we said about, okay, make your own RC, and no, because we wanted, we did our best to make sure that the people who were still having trouble figuring out what we were doing were covered. We covered all the bases that we could, and
get your own RC. Also, implicitly has, ask someone in the community to help you out. Well, we were also members of the community, so
that's right,
we're not immune from being asked.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I thought it was really sweet that you guys were there to support people, and I even stepped up a little bit, and I supported a few presentations that I wasn't involved in, just because I was there, and hey, I know what to do. And
but it happened a few times in a few sessions that I saw, and just somebody who was there, hey, can you take co-host and let people in so that I can just focus on my presentation? No worries.
So
and just people picking it up on the fly, so to speak. Very disorganized, beautiful disorganization.
It was distributed. I think that's the better word. It just people were willing to step up.
So that you made it clear that you've basically retired from this idea, but you want to encourage people to go ahead and come up with their own ideas.
Yes.
There's a couple that I have that I'd like to say in this video. One of them would be the singular event, singular 90-minute group discussion, group workshop, whatever you want to call it. Just come in. Send me a message. Say, Dave, I have an idea. I'd like to do this. What do you think? And just, I'll 99%. I'll say that. Go with it. So there's the one of thing. Then there's the one day thing, maybe a series of things over a one day, say a Saturday in November, and you think you'd like to have, a panel doing this, a workshop doing this, and maybe 3 or 4 things in one day. That's another concept. And then there's the summer session type of concept where it's spread over several days, 2 or 3 or 4 days. All of those are possibilities, and you might have possibilities I haven't even thought of. So if anybody out there in the community wants to do anything, you can talk to me, you can talk to Adam, I'm sure, you can talk to Jose, I'm sure, and you can talk to other people. I don't have the final word, but I like to be told when things are happening, and I usually try to help promote them. 99% I'll try to promote them if I think they're cool. I always stick the events into the announcements, and I'll pin it to the top, so I'm willing to do whatever I can to help anybody out there who wants to get experience or to fulfill some idea they have about particularly teaching online, but it can deviate from that to teacher education or, teaching in general or the workplace environment, whatever.
Pedagogical philosophy, maybe even.
Yeah.
And I'll probably add to that despite all of the Jose saying, I have retired, I am pretty sure that if you had an idea and you said, hey, Jose, would you mind giving me a hand with this? I'm pretty sure Jose, being the guy he is, would probably say, yeah, I'll help you out with that.
Yeah. And that's the beauty
I'm
of
officially retired.
Yeah, the beauty of this.
But unofficially, he's retired from the summer sessions, but there are 3 more seasons.
Yeah, that's right. Japan has 4 seasons.
And I will say this. I mean, I've gotten to know Jose over the last 5 months, but Adam, I didn't really know you well, just a couple of the social gatherings. But through this event that you guys hosted, I got to know you better, and I got to understand where you're coming from, and I feel a lot more connected, and I'm very happy you're a member of this group. Let me tell you that.
Oh, thank you
You
very
and me
much.
both, dude.
Yeah. So I think
Cool group to be in.
without further ado, I think we're going to wrap this up into a video. We're going to post it in the OTJ YouTube channel so people can watch it.
Awesome.
And, get to find out what happened.
Thanks for letting us have a chance to talk, Dave. And thanks for letting us have a chance to actually bring the summer sessions to fruition.
Yeah, and this itself has been somewhat cathartic, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been kind of fun. I got a chance to actually say all the stuff that I wanted.
Well, I when soon as they were done, I thought I got to interview these guys. I mean, since Jose and myself are into the habit of interviewing people, and I thought, like, who else to interview but like you two for what happened? I mean, it's a big enough event that it's worthy of documenting, and we just did it. So,
thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye. See you soon.